Currently, a lot of people are disempowering themselves, and that's fine if it serves them. I've done it, we've all done it, I'm sure we all resonate with that, and we're probably still doing it. And the only way we get out of these feelings of sadness, these feelings of not enoughness, these feelings of guilt, is by empowering ourselves. And I don't mean empowering the mental I in the mind, I mean empowering the being, empowering self, not yourself, just empowering self, self being the being, the feeling, this lovely electric that's throbbing through your being. We need to begin loving that if we want to empower ourselves, and I'm going to be talking a little bit about this today. We constantly disempower ourselves, which is a real shame, because we're powerful beings, right? We're powerful co-creators, super manifestors, shall we say. And we know this in our life because we manifest crap for ourselves, because we're disempowered, because of this crappy state of being that we find ourselves languishing in for longer than perhaps we need to. Of course, I can't say that outright, because sometimes the feeling is maybe that some people have to spend a long time in the darkness because that's what they've come out to play, perhaps that's their theme. But if we're really honest with ourselves and we recognise that we're disempowering ourselves with our mind and with our belief, we can change this in a moment. Well, I mean, it takes practice, but you know, it doesn't take any time to pick a different belief. It's just it takes a while for the feeling of that belief to come, right? And that comes with practice, and that comes with self-empowerment. We can't empower the I in the mind. Well, we can, but that's called narcissism, right? This overinflated self-confidence, this I'm more important than you. And we all know this, we all recognise this in our lives, and this is what we're waking up out of, right? This false sense of self-importance. You are important, but not for the reasons you think you are, you know? And I know this in my life, like huge overinflated ego, and we all have this. But self-empowerment isn't talking about empowering the one in the mind, because that makes us ugly, doesn't it? What I'm talking about is empowering the beauty within us, the electric that's throbbing through your veins. And if you're not feeling electric throbbing through your veins, then down below there's a cosmic double breathing practice that will help awaken this cosmic bliss within you. It's going to oxygenate your body so that you can connect deeply with the feeling, sensation of energy in your body. And it's this self that we're empowering, the being. Really, for me, if we want to begin changing our lives, we have to start loving self. We have to make every moment about falling in love with the self. Not myself, self. My portion of creation within me. My being. This blissful feeling. And we fall in love with ourselves by cultivating a blissful, radiant being. And we can't do that by thinking, can we? Well, I suppose some of us can, if we're naturally positive, but I haven't met many like that haven't gone through a process like yoga or meditation. Or meditation's awfully hard, isn't it, to self-empower with, because we have to silence the mind, and that's difficult. And when we silence the mind, it opens a doorway for bliss, but we have to be open to feeling it, right? So meditation for me, especially as a beginner, is very, very hard. So I like to stoke up a feeling of bliss in my body so that I am then totally connected with a glorious feeling of beauty within. I don't mean beauty, I mean beauty, the majesty of my being. And that's the beginning of falling in love with self. Your self, your inner feeling space. When we think negatively, we're disempowered. When we feel the being within, the being that even encompasses pain, Even if you're feeling pain in the dark night of the soul, notice that it's felt in something greater, isn't it? Otherwise, how would you feel the pain? We are this blissful being, and even if we're feeling pain inside, doesn't mean we can't cultivate this self-empowerment. Empower the being. Pain comes and goes, joy comes and goes, but this blissful being stays. And we don't need to do whatever you want in your life is your life. Of course, I don't want to sound like a preachy guy, but just in my life, it's becoming so clear that the only way out of the muck is to really begin loving self. If I love self and feel joyous in every moment, what does the external world matter? But weirdly, paradoxically, when we start loving self and becoming a better person, I don't mean better because we do better things, I just mean a better person for me, like for yourself. Becoming that caring person to yourself, giving self-care, self-empowerment to the beautiful being that you are. You can hear that two ways, can't you? And I'm hoping you're hearing it the way that I mean it. Our being is beautiful. The feeling space is our being, not this guy. The feeling within, you know? Not the outer shell. The almost semi-physical feeling that radiates and permeates my body and yours. And it's this that we have to empower. Really, we should, if we can. Well, there's no shoulds or shouldn'ts, I hate saying that. But for me, like, it's really good to empower and make every moment about falling in love with self. Because there's no other worries. If I'm falling in love with self continuously, and even there's an emotional war going on in front of me perhaps, I'm still falling in love with the self behind the war, then the war can just be on the surface. But the loving of self is more in the forefront. It drowns the rest out if we're really focused with it. You know? I don't know. What do I know? Alright. If you wish, down below, there's a free breathing practice. I've mentioned that. Don't know why I'm mentioning it again. There you go. Sign up. It's free. You have to sign up. And of course, down below, there's a community for awakening souls. If you're going through an awakening process, you're waking up to the being within, rather than the mental I that's usually a bit of a narcissistic one, then you're more than welcome to join us down below. There's a link, you can sign up, it's totally free, I'll never charge you for it, and there's loads of people in there that are really open, really happy to help, and I love those guys, they're great, because, I don't know, it's just nice, like they're giving from their hearts, and they don't ask for anything back, they just give, and that's really what this whole journey's about, isn't it? Self-service first, so that we can service others, we can serve other people, and then we get to create joy in other people. And that's what this channel's about for me, creating joy, because the joy in other people then becomes my joy, you know, and that's the same for everyone. And yeah, alright, have a really lovely day, peace.